Olá pessoal, estamos aqui com a Abigail representando os Estados Unidos e o David representando a Alemanha para trazer para vocês um pouquinho de boas práticas, ideias, perspectivas desses diferentes mercados. So thank you once again, Abby and David, for being with us here today. And the idea is to share a little bit of best practices, but maybe also some of the worst practices when we can learn and learn from other markets. So here at ABSOLAR, we are very keen into experiencing and strengthening the global environment of our sector. In fact, next year, ABSOLAR will be chairing the Global Solar Council, which represents the sector internationally. So maybe that's an opportunity for us also to bring your ideas into the table and into the global environment as a team. So Abby, can you share with us a little bit on the perspectives of how SEIA is looking into the international landscape?
Absolutely.
And how do you see actions such as reducing carbon emissions, the climate agreement, the Paris Agreement, and what does this mean for us in terms of opportunities, investments, and jobs?
Yeah. So congratulations on your upcoming presidency, chairmanship. We just recently rejoined the Global Solar Council, yes, after a period of, we just looked at our own navels for a while, but we're back. But, I think the three of us could talk about jobs and economic development all the time, but I think probably for each of us, kind of those global climate emissions goals are our North Star, right? That's sort of the reason for which we're doing all of this. And it brings a lot of clarity, at least for me, on why we're doing what we're doing and kind of what the big goal is. I think there's lots of opportunity to work together. We have a lot of stuff that we did not do well in the United States, and I am more than happy to share if anyone would like to know. But I think I'm not going to steal David's line. I'll let him use his line. But I do think we have a lot to share from each other. But those global initiatives are important, and especially as I look at November and kind of the uncertainty of what's going to happen in my country, knowing that there's a larger community of committed governments, committed people, committed companies, committed associations, so that I and my industry are not entirely reliant on the outcome of one election. It's really important for business continuity.
For the consistency.
Absolutely, right? Yeah.
Well, I will start actually by saying, Abby, that the United States inspired Brazil because the net metering system that was established in California and moved the country so strongly into solar was the inspiration for our national net metering program. So can you imagine just one net metering program for the whole country? And this was part of our success, inspired in the United States. So thank you for that. That was wonderful work that you guys did throughout the years, and that we could learn from this experience and apply it on the benefit of the sector and the energy transition. So David, on the other hand, Germany has been a leader on the solar sector for many, many years, and also technology-wise, industry-wise. So can you share a little bit more on your insights and takes on this global environment, on the work that the European Union is doing to help the world move forward into the energy transition as well, and the challenges you see ahead?
So one thing that we have learned very early on is if we only do the energy transition at home, it won't work for the planet. It really is one of these subjects where we're all in the same boat, quite literally. And I'm really happy to see a lot of countries like Brazil step up to be part of the willing and able, and also for others to learn from your example. Because there's one thing if the US or Germany does something, and maybe in a particular way, but there are other markets now who are just as big as ours, like yours or like India, that are moving and going into the sector very, very strongly. And this, doesn't make us unhappy. There were a time when Germany was 60-70% of the world market. Yeah, my hair was a little less gray, but I was already working in solar at that time. So we're really happy that this has picked up, and we're looking for the willing and able to step up and to look at this and maybe even work together in third markets and share what they have done. I mean, certainly things like you said, net metering, so there are some policy examples that have worked really well. For us, having a feed-in tariff, having a tendering system, having, priority access to the grid for green energy has really brought forward the energy sector and the transformation. Introducing battery technology has done it, and once you scale, a certain scale is reached, then the market has started to really run and go for it. And one of the things, I think it's psychological, that people think, does this really work? Oh, can this work? And when they see it, when it comes to their neighborhood, so something we have done in the very beginning, I'm talking about 1990s, last century, is we built solar on churches, community centers. And it was a conversation piece that you had to show that it actually works. And I think the same needs to move with electromobility. Now, where did we do not so well? Certainly at a time of our last solar boom, 2011, 2010, we already built 7.5 to 8 gigawatts of PV in Germany, which was the world's largest market. But there was so much demand, unlike now, that it couldn't be met. And we did mistakes in substandard installation and using substandard materials, and this fell on our feet. And so even if there is a market that is growing very, very strong, there are certain standards, also as an industry leader, where you have to say as the association, please, keep a minimum amount of quality, so you don't, and of training. You can cause faults with perfectly working material if you don't know what you are doing. And so these are quality jobs. You really need to train for them, and it's a good thing to be doing for the environment, but it needs to be done in the right way. And it's certainly something where we have failed to meet that test. I think we are meeting it now, but it took some years to overcome that and to understand that. And it's a danger in every market that is heating up. It's very positive, but it has a downside, so look for that. And I look forward to that collaboration that we are seeing between the big players that are open about what they do and honestly what they're good at, and maybe not so. So there's part as we look to the United States for digitalization, for software in particular, but also for some of the manufacturing that it can do. It will be very interesting to see what Brazil does in floating, in the combination with agri-PV. I think you can be a leader in this field. I know that there are some very, very smart companies, very smart people working here that I've met, and you just have to listen to the buzz around us. It's almost hard to understand one another here to see what is going on.
David, thank you so much, and I have to say that Germany also inspired Brazil in many different ways, and one of them is public policy. For example, very recently, you established a public goal to get some of your energy from green hydrogen. This creates demand for this market to develop locally but also internationally. Germany has a history of strong partnership through GIZ with Brazil, and has helped the development of our net metering policy, even back then, in the beginning in our case. But you guys also established the 1 million rooftop project, which was a reference of having a commitment from the government to reach a landmark use of this technology. So we also inspired ourselves in your success, and I'm sure that we'll be able to share some of our ideas to help you guys also accelerate your market. So thank you for being with us here once again. Thank you for believing in the work that we do and that the Brazilian solar sector is doing. And let's work together to make it even stronger for the world, because if in the 20th century we could say that maybe the number one energy source was oil or eventually coal, fossil fuels for sure, but in the 21st century it's the sun that's gonna shine.